Hey guys, so this is going to be a quick video. A few of you guys asked me to rank all of the seasons of Baddies now that we have 6 seasons, and also to give you guys my individual rankings and grades for each girl this season. So first I'm going to start with my season rankings. As of now, number 1 for me is Baddies South. I give that an A-. Number 2 for me is Baddies West, which I give a B. Number 3 for me is Midwest, which I give a B-. So like I said, I do feel like Midwest was a pretty good season. I would give it about a 7 or an 8 out of 10. 4 for me is Caribbean, which I give a C-. 5 for me is East, which I give a D+. And 6 for me is ATL, which I give a F. So we'll see what Africa gives next season. And at the end of Africa, I'll do this all over again and see if anything changed. Because sometimes I do watch the seasons over throughout the year. Or, I just see certain things in new seasons that remind me of things from old seasons. And it will just change my perspective. Like last season when I originally ranked Caribbean, I graded it a D. But now, as y'all can see, I've moved it up to a C- because that's just how I feel now. So we're going to start off with the F's. Biggie, I basically just said she needs to get off the show. It's not for her. I don't feel like she's a good friend. The whole Anna reunion situation was a mess. And even throughout the season, I just felt like she didn't want to get in the paint. And then when she did want to get in the paint, it was to jump with Anna and the whole Nunu situation. As far as Yoshi, I gave her an F because I said she really brought nothing to the season. She was only there for the first couple of episodes and left. And before she left, she got beat up by Summer of all people. And we know Summer don't really got hands. So if you getting beat up by Summer, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so now we're going to get into the D's. For Natalie, I gave her a D. I said she was messy this season as usual. And on top of that, she wasn't trying to get into the paint. She set Tasiki up at the beginning of the season with the whole Krishan stopping in Oklahoma randomly thing. And then later in the season, you didn't have Jayla's back. You called Scotty ugly, etc. It was just a lot of stuff. You didn't check on Rolly and Tinkerbella properly when they got popped by Tommy. Like, it was just a lot of stuff with Natalie this season that I didn't like. But that's the usual with her. I also gave Krishan a D. I said she had a 1 to 2 episode appearance, which in my opinion was an attempt to manipulate the audience into thinking that she had grown and she had matured and she was so holy and healed now. But really, it was just a bunch of projection, deflecting, and not taking accountability for getting Tasiki jumped when they tried to have the conversation. Then on top of that, after Tasiki left the room, she started popping all of that stuff about Tasiki, saying she used to sell cat, talking about what happened to Tasiki's child. It was just too much for me, and she got a D. Dolly also got a D. Y'all know Dolly is my least favorite newbie. To me, she rode Summer's coattails. She had a selectively broken hand all season, and she stayed in the ER half the season. She also went on social media and acted like she kept up with Tasiki all the way until the reunion aired, knowing that she did not. And then once it aired, she got on social media like, oh yeah, win, lose, or draw, win, lose, or draw. But you was acting like you kept up. You knew you lost. Okay, so these last 5 girls on this screen, I all gave a D+. So let's start with Emma. To me, she picked the fight with Scotty for being boring, but then she was boring on the show. But I did feel bad about her getting jumped by Dolly and Summer at the reunion. And I understood her point about the OGs being comfortable. And I do hope that she doesn't actually have permanent eye damage. As far as Jaden, I said she was boring, but I did respect her having Ivory's back at the reunion and being a real friend. So that gained her some points for me. Jasmine, I gave her a D+ as well. I said while she does represent a true baddie well to me, as far as being a pretty girl who's about her business and has her stuff together, I feel like she's really only going to be remembered as Summer's enemy and Cash Doll's best friend. She spent her whole season beefing with Summer, having confessionals about Summer, having side commentary about Summer. She really didn't have anything else to say. Akbar, I didn't mind Akbar as much as other people in the audience did, but I literally almost forgot about Akbar while I was making this, which proves that she didn't add much to the season. And while I was making the video, I saw this post which gagged me. They said, just realized Akbar wasn't even at the reunion or even mentioned. I actually forgot she was on the show. It's like, I'm telling y'all, I swear, I did the whole notes last night and completely forgot about Akbar. I remembered her today when I was about to record. That's bad. So like I said, didn't bring much to the season, but I didn't really mind her as much as other people. And in my opinion, she did win the fight with DTB. And Jayla, who was there, also said Akbar won the fight with DTB. And she's cool with both of them. Okay, and as far as Mel, I gave her a D+ as well. Small appearance that was highly anticipated, but disappointing. She lost the fights with Ivory, in my opinion. And she also started with Tasiki and some of the other baddies online. And then when she came to the reunion, she ducked the fades and was basically acting like she was confused on why she had beef with so many girls. Okay, so next up we have our C's. So I gave Lex a C-. I said she had a strong start when she was standing independently against Ivory and Paula, like when she fought them on the bus. But she went downhill for me when she started attaching herself to Summer and Dolly, but mainly Summer, because I feel like Dolly and Lex both rode Summer's coattails. Like, without Summer being on the season, I really think Dolly would have had no storylines, and Lex would have basically only had the storyline, which was her itching for beef with Jayla, and the storyline with Ivory, because Ivory started with her. And as far as the itching for the beef with Jayla thing, it just came off very fan-like. Slim also got a C minus. I said she accepted the assistant slash pet position and treatment, but it still was not right. I also noticed that she would be sorry in Rolly's face, but then she would be popping it in the confessionals, which was confusing for me. And I just don't really respect the fact that when Rolly told her from the beginning, you're going to be an assistant, she was laughing like, yeah, I'm a pet. I'm a pet, like calling herself a pet. So, like I said, it wasn't right, but I couldn't really feel bad for her because it's like, girl, that's what you was willing to take and sign up for money and to get back on the show and have like this Zeus fame. Tinkerbella, I also gave a C minus. I said she didn't bring much to the season for me. She was following the OGs when it came to Slim. She was following DTB when it came to Paula. And she basically made up a beef with Tommy over something that was really nothing. She was mad at Tommy for basically, being with Meatball during the Caribbean reunion and going backstage with Meatball and giving Meatball a pep talk. And she was also mad that when she came out on stage, Tommy said, "Who is that?" And Saucy said, "Tinkerbella don't look the same without makeup." So you should be mad at Saucy for that. I also gave Jayla a C minus for this season. I said she was loyal to a fault with Natalie continuously throughout the season, all the way up to the reunion. And in my opinion, she just wasn't herself this season. And after learning about her relationship with some of the Zeus producers, it made more sense. Summer got a C. I said she kept the season going even though I wasn't a fan of her. Similar to how I did not like Diamond the Baddie on Caribbean, I didn't deny that she was the star of the season. Summer did have some slight moments of maturity though that I did like, such as her apologizing to Slim at the reunion. Rolly also got a C from me. I said the newbie said she was nice and embraced them. And I think I forgot to mention that as far as Tinkerbella, that was a positive point I gave her as well, that the newbie said she was nice and embraced them. They were the main two OGs that I heard the newbies mention as far as, really being around them and getting to know them. I also gave Rolly some points for checking Natalie throughout the season, but I said she loses points for how far the Slim situation was taken and for how she snuck Slim when she gave her the eviction notice. I gave Anna a C. I said she grew on me just a bit this season. She was funny, and I like that she was able to put her differences to the side with both Scotty and Nunu. I also enjoyed her clocking Lex T all season. It was funny to me. And at the end of the day, at the reunion, when her and Lex did end up getting in the paint, Lex didn't even do Anna in. I gave Diamond a C as well. I said she also grew on me a bit this season and was funny. Her slapping Natalie, scripted or not, was needed, but she did leave the season early. And I gave Tasiki a C+, and I said I gave her the same rating that I gave her last season, and basically for the same reason. She didn't really stand out too much during the season besides the fight with Dolly, but she did stand out at the reunion once again. Now we're going to move on to our B category. So I gave Tommy a B-. I said her appearance was insane, and she revived the show mid-season, but I can't rate her any higher than this, when she was only in 1 to 2 episodes out of 20+, and she didn't attend the reunion. Next, we have Ivory, who I gave a B. I said surprisingly, she was very likable to me on this season. She did come in a little bit too hot, picking with Lex unnecessarily, but she definitely showed a nicer and softer side of herself than what we had seen of her on Now That's TV. I also gave her points for defending Slim and Emma when she felt they were being bullied or ganged up on. Next up, we have Nunu, who I gave a B+. I said she grew on me and we got to see more of her personality this season. I still think she deserves a full season. She tore Timon and Pumbaa and knotted Anna up. And in my opinion, the funniest and most memorable line of the season for me goes to her calling Biggie a boiled egg. And lastly, for the B category, we have Scotty with a B+. I said she stood on business all season, didn't duck any smoke or fades, and got in the field. But I didn't like how she handled certain situations like the Slim situation. And I do feel like she kind of needs to let the girl's girl persona go because it don't really be given that. And I would just respect it more if she didn't try to make us believe that so much. Just be a pretty girl, be the life of the party, stand on business. But you don't got to act like you super nice and you really this girl's girl when it don't really seem like that's honestly you. And lastly, my overall most valuable baddie for Baddies Midwest. If you have a different opinion, that's fine, and you're welcome to comment it. But don't try to change my opinion because this is my opinion. This is who I like the most, who I agreed with the most, and who grew on me the most throughout the season. So like I said, my overall most valuable baddie for Baddie Midwest is Pretty P, also known as Paula. I gave her an A-. I said she had a rough start to the season and she wasn't my favorite, nor was she a fan fave. I didn't like how she attacked Lex on the bus for no reason, and it seemed like she was trying to get on Ivory's good side. But outside of that, and as the season progressed, she began to show her true personality and she grew on me a lot, as well as the audience. Overall, I don't have much negative to say about her. She's not scared to stand alone. She stands on business. She gets in the field whenever it's needed. And she really don't start fights. It mostly be people trying to call her out, and she just always ready to go. But besides that, she be minding her business, and I like that. Okay, guys, so that's my current Baddies season rankings and my Baddies Midwest season grades for all of the girls. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all later. If you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. And if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you're following me on TikTok. Bye, guys.